Namaste and welcome. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position. You can have your arms in your lap or on your knees, palms up or down. Legs are crossed in any comfortable seated position. Spine is elevated, shoulders back, chin slightly tucked. Stomach is in. Breathing into the stomach, the rib cage, the chest. And I invite you to close your eyes, focusing on the breath. Without changing the position of your shoulders, bring your hands to prayer. We'll begin with 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in, ready to begin. Gently work your way to a standing position. Feet are together, big toes touch. Raise your right hand up and lean to the right hand side. Your left hand is touching the side of your body, but you're not leaning the weight into the side of the body. Your tailbone is tucked. Breathe into the ribs and the chest. And feel the right lung expanding as you breathe. Your gaze can be anywhere forward or down. Chin stays slightly tucked. And bicep is close to the ear, so don't let the head collapse downward. Try not to stretch from the right shoulder, so feel the stretch maybe in the back, or the side of the body, or the chest. And inhale the right arm up, exhale, lower it down. Inhale the left arm up, and now lean towards the right. Elbow is straight. Or if you are double jointed in the elbows, you can have a slight bend. And continue to breathe deeply. This time feeling the left lung expanding as you inhale. The breath should be deep but comfortable. And inhale that arm up and exhale, lower it down. This time bring your feet to the edges of the mat. Feet are parallel. Bend your knees a lot. Tuck your tailbone a lot. Lean back and bring your hands either to prayer at the chest or for an extra challenge up and over your head. What you're doing is you're using the front of the leg muscles, the quadriceps, as well as your core to keep yourself from falling backwards. So breathe into the chest so that you can keep your core engaged. For an extra challenge, you can close your eyes here. Keep breathing. Make sure your knees are not collapsing inward, but also you're not pushing your knees outward too much either. So you're trying to find a nice balance. A burning sensation in the legs is normal. A shaking sensation in the whole body is normal here if you're not used to activating your core. Stay strong here. Keep breathing. We're going to hold this for a little while. If at any time it's too much, you can come out of the pose and take a break. And release the pose. Bring your feet together. And again, we return to the first pose we did in today's class. So raise the right arm up and lean to the left, tucking the tailbone, making sure not to stretch the shoulder. Breathe deeply. In and out through the nose, always breathing in and out through the nose. Make sure you're not leaning on your left hand into your body. You're using your side muscles to hold yourself in this position. And inhale that right arm up. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale the left arm up and lean to the right. Knees can be slightly bent. If you're uncomfortable with straight knees here, no problem. Make sure you're not leaning too far forward or too far back. You're imagining panes of glass behind you and in front of you. So you have to keep your body in one line. And inhale that arm up. Exhale, lower it down. Again, coming to the pose with feet to the edges of the mat, so a little wider than hips width apart. Bend the knees a lot. Scoop your tailbone. Bring your hands to your chest or up overhead for that extra challenge. Breathe into the chest. Again, holding for a little while. So if you need a break, take a break and come out of it whenever you're ready. Otherwise, hold on and keep breathing. The power is in the breath. We don't want to hold our breath in yoga. Never holding the breath. Trying to breathe deep yet comfortable, naturally. And shooting that breath all the way to the bottom of our stomach and then up into the top of the chest. So a full breath. And inhale all the way up and exhale the hands to prayer at the chest. And get ready for the next pose. For this pose, your feet are going to be as wide as you can go comfortably on the mat. Toes are out to the sides. And then you're going to have a flat lower back. So you want to tuck the tailbone, scoop it in. Now interlace your fingers and have your palms facing down towards the ground. You're pushing your knees out to the sides. Shoulders are back, chin is slightly tucked, and make sure your chest stays up so you're not looking down at the floor, you're looking forward. We're going to hold here for a little bit, and we're doing 3 variations of this pose. Now bring your arms out to the sides, elbows straight, fingers are active here, and keep your shoulders back and down, so don't raise your shoulders up and don't have any tension in the shoulders. Again, if you're double jointed, keep those elbows slightly bent like you'll see mine. Keep those knees pushing out to the edges and make sure that you're not having a curve in your lower back, so make sure the lower back is nice and flat. And for the last variation, interlace the fingers, bring them up overhead, palms facing the sky. You can do it. Try to get a little lower if you can. And come out of the pose nice and gentle. Face forward again. And then raise your right leg up. Make sure your right toes are pointing up as well. So you're pushing out through the heel. Balancing on the left foot, you can bring your hands either to your hips or out to the sides for an extra challenge to tone the arms. You want to make sure you're not leaning back. So you want to have your stomach in and engaged, the core, breathing into the chest. We're always fighting against the gravity in yoga. So imagine that as you're breathing in, you're lifting your body up. And now you want to swing your right leg out to the right side. Again, keeping the toes up, not pointing down. And you want to make sure that both hip bones are facing forward, so you're not swiveling the hip out. So you're constantly pushing against that right knee to move it out, all while maintaining balance, not leaning too far forward or backwards, left or right. And we bring that leg down and get ready on the other side. Left knee up and hold. Breathing. Trying to lift that knee up a little higher. And then move it out to the side. Check those hip bones, make sure they're both facing forward. You're not swiveling from the other side of the body. You're keeping the body facing forward. The movement is happening at the hip. That's what we're strengthening. If you lose your balance, that's okay. Come right back into it. And bring that knee forward and come out of the pose. We're going to interlace our fingers behind us and grabbing at our ankle. So not the top of the foot if you can. Wrap your fingers around the ankle. Bring the shoulders back. You can bend on that standing knee. And now what you're trying to do is bring that right knee behind you. And you're trying to bring your foot up. Leaning forward slightly. You could let go of your foot here and still maintain this position. That's what we're aiming for. If you're struggling with the balance, don't try leaning forward so much. You can just maintain your body in a straight line. And slowly release that foot and come into the other side. Shoulders back, chest is forward. You're leaning forward, but your chin is slightly tucked. Again, your standing leg can have a slight bend in the knee if you need. Otherwise, a straight knee is fine as well. And slowly release. And we'll repeat those last three poses again. So we turn to the side of our mat, bring your feet out to the edges, toes out to the sides. Make sure you don't have a curve in your lower back. So tuck your tailbone, immediately scoop it in, shoulders are back, interlace the fingers, palms facing down. Chin tucked. Lower down as much as you can. If you're having trouble with your balance, you can bring your toes slightly closer towards each other. And now bring your arms out to the sides. Electrified fingers. Fingers are active here. You can do it. Keep holding. Keep breathing. And last 5 breaths. Interlace the fingers. Bring your palms to face up towards the sky. Keep the shoulders back. Keep the elbows as straight as you can. Slight bend only if you need it. Lower your bottom down towards the ground. And keep your knees pushing out to the sides while maintaining a flat back. And slowly release the pose, bring the feet together, turn to face the front of the mat again, bring that right knee up, right toes up, arms out to the sides, keep the shoulders back, don't lean back, chin is nice and tucked. remembering to breathe. Standing knee has a slight bend if needed. And bring that right knee out to the side. Core is engaged here. So breathing into the chest. And release that right leg down. Inhale the left leg up. Hold here with the knee forward. Imagining there's a straight line from your standing heel all the way up to the top of your head. So your body isn't leaning backwards, forwards, or to any side. Bring that left knee out to the side, making sure the toes are pointing up and the hip bones are both facing forward. The movement is happening deep in that hip. And slowly lower that left leg down. Raise that right leg behind you, interlacing the fingers around the ankle. Shoulders are back. And then bring that right knee back behind you, leaning slightly forward, hinging from the hip. Slowly release that right leg and come right into the other side. Bending the left knee, grabbing the ankle, shoulder blades together behind the back so the shoulders are open, the chest is open. Lean forward. Breathe. Slowly release that leg. You want to bring your feet hips width distance apart, maybe a little bigger. Bring the arms up above the head, grab the elbows, make sure your biceps are right between the ears. And then exhale down, keeping a flat back. So bend your knees and bring your hips back. Your knees can stay bent here. It's more important to have a straight line from the lower back and hips all the way to the shoulders and elbows. So you're flat like a tabletop, making that flat line again from the hips, lower back, upper back, shoulders, elbows, and back of head. It's like a nice flat table, and you're only leaning down as far as that table can stay flat. Your stomach should be touching your thighs here, and your stomach should stay in. So suck your stomach in and breathe into the chest. And then slowly lower your hips down, bending at the knees, and come into a yoga squat. Your chest is forward, your shoulders are back, your elbows are pushing against the inner thigh, and you're pushing your knees out. Your toes can be out to the sides, and make sure you have the weight in your heels and in your toes. Now bring your hands forward, knees outside of the tricep, and then slowly bring one foot up and then the other foot behind you, activating your core, holding crow pose. If you need to, you can come out of this pose at any time, but keep trying. Don't look down at your hands, you'll fall. Look forward. If you're still having trouble getting into this pose, you want to just try leaning forward and staying up on one toe. So keep trying to lift one foot up, only putting the weight on your hands and one toe. And slowly come out of the pose, back and do a yoga squat for a few more breaths. And now you want to bring your toes parallel to each other. So feet are parallel. You're bringing your arms forward, fingers facing upward, and your backside is up. So there's a straight line from your knees to your backside. So from your knees to your backside, that is parallel to the floor. And your stomach is touching your front thighs. Hold here, keep breathing. Try to calm and soften your breath for a calm mind. If you need to take a break, come back into the squat. Don't stand. Now everybody out of the pose. Back into the squat. And slowly lower down onto your seat. You can use your hands to get there. You want to bring the bottoms of your feet together in front of you, heels close to your middle, no tension in the knees. So if your knees feel a little bit of pain or discomfort, you can bring your heels further away from the body. You can wrap your fingers underneath your toes or open your feet up like a book. You're bringing your chest forward, core is engaged, and try to push both knees towards the ground, but you're doing that using your leg muscles, nothing else. Maintain this position and breathe, continuously trying to push the knees towards the ground using just your leg muscles. Now exhale, come forward. You can use your elbows against your inner thighs. Keep your back flat and your shoulders open, chest is forward. Chin slightly tucked here. So you're trying to lengthen through the spine as you come forward with a flat back. So your stomach is in, breathing into your chest. Keep pushing your elbows against the inner thigh. Potentially creating a slight discomfort, but never pain. Never creating pain in yoga. If you're creating pain, it will lead to injury. If you're creating a little bit of discomfort, but you're breathing through it, you're right on your edge and you're working. So now we bring our legs to a wide position. You know it's wide enough if your toes can stay up, pointing towards the sky. And I bring my right hand towards my left foot and my left hand towards my right foot and keep alternating. The shoulder that's forward, I'm bringing it even more forward to feel the stretch, and my opposite hand is going behind me. So keep alternating in this pose. Feeling a stretch in the lower back, the back of the shoulders, the bottoms of the legs. Keep your toes pointing in towards you. Don't let them flop down towards the ground. Keep them pointing up to the sky and towards you. Keep going at your own speed. Don't worry about how fast anybody else is going. Go at your own speed. And now bring your hands behind you. Your wrists are almost touching your back. Your fingers are facing away from you. Chest is forward, shoulders are back, chin is tucked, and you're looking slightly upward. Toes are in towards you. Using your hands to push your body up. You're trying to lengthen through the spine here. Keep breathing. And now exhale forward, grabbing your big toes with your two first fingers and your thumb wrapped around. Keep your shoulders back, so don't let the stretch happen in the shoulders. Keep your stomach in and engaged, breathing in through the chest. Tuck your chin. Try to lengthen through the spine here. Keep your knees pushing down towards the ground. You're kicking your heels away from your body. If you need to have a slight bend in the knees, that's fine. And now we come to Gomukhasana, or cow face pose. So we start with our left leg underneath and our right leg wrapped up on top. You want your toes pointing out to the sides, so you can adjust your feet to make that happen. If you're having trouble sitting on both sit bones, you can have a pillow underneath or even a stool, no problem. If this is too advanced for you in the legs, no problem, just sit in any cross-legged position, you'll still get the benefits. And now turn to one side. Doesn't matter which side, we're going to do both. And breathe here, trying to lengthen through the spine, so keep the chin tucked. So imagine that posture you have when you're looking at your phone where the neck is down. We want to kind of avoid that. So we're keeping the chest open, the shoulders, both of them are back. Even though we're stretching, we're keeping the shoulders back. Now we switch sides. So the hand that's behind me, I have my fingers facing away and I have my wrist towards and close to my lower back, almost touching. So again, my wrist is almost touching my body. Keep breathing here. And now I want to alternate the legs. So whichever leg was on top, I want it now below. And again, we're going to turn, and we're going to do both sides. So it doesn't matter which side you turn to first. Hold and breathe. Depending on where you're tight, you may feel this in different places. In one of the legs or both, in the hips, or even the lower back or shoulder. Creating a stretch, but not creating pain. And turn to the other side. And slowly come out of that pose, again alternating the legs. So we do this just to make sure that we're not creating any sort of pain or discomfort by alternating the legs each time. Whichever knee is up, you want to bring the opposite hand up, bend the elbow. The other hand goes out to the side and then loops back behind. I want to be pushing my elbows back behind me, and I want to make sure that my neck isn't collapsing and looking down. I'm using the back of my head to push my elbow back if I need to, so that I can have a straight line from my seat all the way up the spine to the top of my head facing up to the sky. Now I slowly exhale and lean forward, trying to get my chin beyond my knee. Stomach is in here, breathing into the chest, keeping my elbows pushing back behind me. If I have any trouble interlacing my fingers behind my back, I can either use a strap or some sort of string and just grip each side with a gap between, or I can just bring my hands wherever they rest on my back. The fingers don't even need to be touching. No problem. You'll get some sort of benefit or stretch. Inhale up, release the arms, release the legs, switching one last time to the other side. And now whichever knee is up, the opposite hand raises up overhead, and then you bend that elbow. The other arm goes out to the side and then loops back behind, interlacing the fingers if you need, coming into the pose on the other side. On your next exhale, you want to lean forward, trying to get your chin beyond your knee. Just come down as far as you can. Continuing to breathe into the chest. Just a few more breaths left. Up, release the hands, release the legs. Getting ready to come into our final resting pose of the class. So lay down on the mat, bring your feet to the edges, let the toes fall out to the sides, bring your arms to your sides with enough distance so that your armpits can breathe freely. Palms facing upward if that's comfortable for you. Shoulder blades together underneath the back. Chin slightly tucked here, again trying to maintain a long spine. And just let go. Let go of your breath. Let go of your thoughts. Just observe. It's natural for the mind to wander during this final resting pose. It's not a problem. Nothing is a problem here. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. It's good to focus on the breath. Rise and fall of the belly as you inhale and exhale. Bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle fingers and toes. Bring your arms overhead. Stretch from toes to fingertips. Bend your knees and bring them to your chest. And roll onto your right side. Gently lift yourself up. Come into any comfortable seated position. Arms can be in your hands, in your lap, on your knees. Lengthen your spine up to the sky. Stomach is in. Chest is forward. Shoulders are back. Chin slightly tucked. In today's class with one Om, bring your hands together. Prayer at the center of your chest. Take a deep breath in. Ready to begin. I bow to you. Namaste.